All right, guys, back to work. I know weekend's over. Time change is behind us. I think it's about that time of day again here. All kidding aside, though, back to work. You've got a big week ahead of us. Monday evening, it is the 8th of November, 2021. My name is Joseph. And as always, welcome back to your nightly newsletter. Now, if you're watching for the first time tonight, it's great to have you with me. My job tonight is to help us find the best trades setting up for tomorrow. That's Tuesday's trading session. I got a great video in store for you guys tonight. Charts are all ready in the background, as you can see. Nasdaq's here, S&P's here. Oil is here as well. Glad to see you are here. Made it through the daylight savings time shift. Glad to have you back with me. Got a lot of great trades on our radar for Tuesday's trading session. We got some ranges on the charts in front of us. We get some big news tomorrow, so I want to make sure we're ready for the action tomorrow. By the end of tonight's video, you'll know my favorite trades for tomorrow. You'll also know some stuff to avoid to keep yourself out of trouble, keep you in the green tomorrow, whether you're trading on your own or you're trading with us tomorrow morning in our trade room. Before we jump in and get this video going tonight, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. I publish these videos every evening during the week on this channel. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that little bell icon so you always get notified every time we publish something new. A lot of this stuff is time sensitive, so hit that little bell icon. If you have any questions for me, drop those questions in the comment section. I would love to answer any questions. And if you guys enjoy this video as much as I enjoy making it, if you tune in every evening, if you like the newsletter stuff, right, give me that like button, that thumbs up here for me on this video. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, but enough of the intro. Time is ticking. Tuesday is not going to trade itself. What do we have here setting up for Tuesday's trading session? Lots of ranges on the charts here tonight. You'll notice got a range, of course, here on the E-mini, got a range on the Nasdaq, and oh yeah, that's a range on the oil. There must be some big news coming at some point here this week. We had a pretty busy week last week, so this might be a little bit of a lull. You know, we had the daylight savings time shift over the weekend, right? So we'll see if we get these things perked up a little more tomorrow. But anytime I see ranges on the charts, right, what are we doing? We're buying low, we're selling high, we're fading the breakouts, and then we're definitely looking to trade breakouts, right? So we got some failures, we got some breakouts, we got some rotation trades on our radar for tomorrow. There's definitely no shortage of good trades setting up for Tuesday. So we're going to break this down, talk about my favorite trades for tomorrow's trading session. Speaking of tomorrow, though, let's make sure we're all on the same page here because we do have some big news on the schedule for tomorrow. And no, it is not Jerome Powell at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. As we look at the news tomorrow, we get the PPI report tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Time. That is definitely the big news of the morning tomorrow. I wouldn't worry too much about Jerome Powell at 9 a.m. He's a keynote speaker at a virtual conference, so we're not going to worry about that tomorrow. But we got the 8:30 PPI number tomorrow. Of course, PPI talks about inflation. And in case you've been living under a rock the last few months, inflation has been on our radar, on everyone's radar in the markets. As we go later on in the week, you'll notice they put all Thursday's news right into Wednesday, right? We get the jobless claims and the CPI report. As you can imagine, the CPI report is probably going to be the big news of the week. This week is probably that CPI report on Wednesday. Thursday is a holiday, so keep in mind on that. Markets are open on Thursday, but whenever the banks are closed and the kids are out of school, if there's a parade going on, you got to be careful with some low volume markets. Again, markets will be open on Thursday, but we'll have the day off in our trade room. I would encourage you to celebrate your favorite veteran on Thursday's Veterans Day as well. And we'll definitely come back and trade that JOLTS report on Friday morning. So there's no shortage of news here this week. Big news, of course, tomorrow is the PPI report at 8:30 Eastern Time. And of course, we'll have a front row seat for that tomorrow morning in our trade room. Speaking of our trade room, what trades are we looking for tomorrow? S&P, Nasdaq, and oil, they're pretty much all range bound. Whenever I see a range on the chart, we'll start first tonight on the S&P 500. Whenever I see a range on the chart, I know that ranges act like magnets, and my job is to find levels of resistance up above the range so I can sell high and go back down into that trading range, find support levels below the range so I can buy low and look for the move going back up, into that range, right? So ranges act like magnets. So we're trying to buy low, we're trying to sell high. Now, every once in a while, we'll get a breakout. And so breakouts are definitely going to be on our radar as well. Now, breakouts can be tricky because when you think about it, again, the range is the magnet. And so what we have to do is, think of like a spaceship, right? They get the rocket boosters, to kind of propel them, out of the Earth's atmosphere, and then they got to get them far enough, right, so they can hold it and keep going. That's kind of what ranges have to do, right? We have to get enough strength getting out of the range, but they got to hold that pullback and go. If they don't, we're going to end up getting dragged back down into that trading range. So we're buying low, we're selling high, and we'll talk about some breakouts here as we go throughout the video here tonight. Now, there's one kind of big, maybe not clue on this chart, but you'll notice that big run higher on the S&P to get the day going. Anytime we see a big move in one direction, we always know there's probably going to be a retest of that level at some point. So in this case, we have to assume the buyers, in all reality, that we get the pullback here, obviously right down to that range, but we have to assume these buyers would love to get back up around that 47.07, that 47.11, of course, is the all-time high up there. It's not going to be easy buying up there, but that's definitely where the buyers would like to get to right now. So as the market tries to go higher, how do we buy it? How do we sell it? What's the game plan? Well, it's really all about momentum at this point. We know the range below us, of course, is a magnet. We got plenty of resistance, but again, if we go higher here, momentum's going to be pretty bullish, won't it? So the best way to short this thing back down into that trading range, it really kind of depends on kind of where we are in this. You'll notice, for example, I have this trend line coming up. So bottom line is, when we go up, up top here, I'm going to be looking for these buyers to try twice, so I can basically sell into their stop losses, right? I'm going to wait for the price to go up, let the buyers try once, let them try twice, and then look for that short coming back down. This trend line is really going to be a big variable here, because if we get up and the buyers try once, the buyers try twice, I'm going to really want that trap entry off of this high, because I'm just not going to want to sell into that rising support trend line. And of course, that trap entry will be the best way to do it, right? So look for a trap setup in combination with what I call a two-try failure off that high, right? So we pop up, we get into that buy zone, so the sell zone, the buyers come in, they try to buy it once, we go lower, they try to buy it twice. All their stops now are sitting right below that low. I really want that trap entry again, right, for that short. That will help me absorb the market's bullish momentum, and also to, of course, deal with that rising support trend line. As the market goes higher here, this is when we start to have a little more freedom, as you would say, right, because of that trend line being further away. Same thing, right? Same thing. I want the buyers trying once. I want them trying twice. And what you want to kind of always try to get into here is try to find some sort of trend line off that high. Again, stops are sitting right below that low, when I can simply either selling into stops right off the trend line, or simply wait for that price, trigger the stops, right, and sell it back down in. So all depends on kind of where we are on the chart as far as the short. But as we go higher here, think about letting those buyers try a couple times and then shorten this thing back down into that, right, into that range there. How would we buy this market as it's going higher here? Really, there are a couple different ways we can buy this. First of all, we have to get this thing to go up and hold the pullback. If the buyers can go up and hold that pullback, in other words, if we can get a 1, 2, 3 breakout pattern, then what I can do is I can mark up that high, I can mark up that low, I can drill down to my entry time frame. This, of course, is a 5,000 tick chart. We're not going to trade that off the right. We won't trade off the 5,000 tick chart tomorrow in the trade room. What I'll do is I'll drill down though, and I'll look for one of my favorite entry setups off the low of that channel. My two favorite entry patterns off the low of that channel are traps and failures, like we talk about in our quick start class, which, by the way, if you haven't taken that quick start class, I talk about all of these entry setups. In fact, I have hundreds of examples of the entry patterns inside that quick start class. So definitely grab a little link. I'll put a little link up there that'll pop up, and you can grab that link and you can learn, like I said before, you can learn how, if we get that one 2, 3 breakout, mark that new channel, drill down to that faster time frame, and you'll learn kind of how we structure the entry off of that low. There are a couple different types of breakouts. There are 4 total types of breakouts we look for in our trade room. We'll go over a couple of them here on the S&P, and we'll talk more about some on the Nasdaq. Another one too, knowing that this market's all-time high is up there. Let's say, for example, we got a strong pop up, and let's say, for example, the market now starts to grind as it goes. It's been pretty common lately, kind of these melt up markets. In that situation, I don't want to chase it. What I'll do is I'll find that high, I'll find the low of that channel, and one of my favorite trades in these situations is to grab that nice deep trap, get that trap, right? And that will usually put us just underneath the moving average, be a trap setup, a failure setup, a pullback combination. Again, you'll learn a lot more about these inside of that video class that I linked up in the upper right-hand corner, but that's the general idea, right? We're trying to buy off the low of that channel with a trap, with a failure, with a pullback combination. Now, if we get this breakout, where's the target going to be, right? Where's the target? What you always want to remember is whenever we have a range breakout, the breakout leg is a symmetrical measuring leg. So in this particular example, what you want to do is think about that first leg and then take the size of that leg, and it's going to be projected off of this leg right here. Does that make sense, right? So, if we were to kind of, jump up and run higher and kind of grind like this, right? Grind like this. That's going to be your breakout leg, right? So you want to use that as kind of the foundation of the measured move, if you will. And then mark up that high, mark up that low. Again, I like to go after these traps, right? Traps, failure, pullback combination. But the reality though is, again, you want that leg. This middle leg is usually not very important. It's usually that first leg and then that one. That's going to give you an idea. Obviously, I don't know enough about it just yet, but that's the strategy here for tomorrow, right? So if the market does pop up and starts to grind, I'm going to look for that pullback, the traps, the failures, the pullback combinations. Again, you'll learn more of those details inside that free video class. So we go up, we're using a 2-try failure to sell it back down. How about we go lower, right? What's the plan if we go lower here? Now, if we go lower, we have a lot more momentum on the side of the bears, right? So first of all, as we go lower, we might get lucky and be able to get a nice little 2-try trap down here as we go lower. Always love this setup. You have to think there's a big bullseye right down on those lows, right? A lot of momentum coming lower here. If I can get a strong move down, shallow pullback, lower low in price, right? That'll be a great little spot there. It's what I call a 2-try trap. Right, little 2-try trap off that high. We might end up getting something like this where it takes out that 2-try trap, right? And then you get the bears coming in. They try once, they try twice, and right back up again. There's that 2-try failure pattern, that we talked about before, right? If we were to take this market lower here, the range is still the magnet, right? So if we take out those lows, get down into this support area, now, of course, at this point now, again, bears try once, bears try twice. Now, why twice? Because, again, we're very bearish, right? We're very bearish. So we're not going to want to, even though the range is a magnet, we're not going to want to just step into that freight train. Let those bears try a couple times. Their stops now are right above that high. And I can, of course, again, I like to look for trend lines off those lows, look for trap entries right off of those lows. But that's the general idea here of buying off that low, right? You're buying off that low using a failure pattern. And because of momentum being so bearish in this situation, this kind of scenario, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, let them try and let them try twice. Now, there's a lot more we can do with this, but I want to keep this video going. So we'll talk more about these types of setups as we go deeper into the Nasdaq, because a lot of the stuff will be kind of the same here in this video. You'll see why. So make sure you keep on watching here. Now, as we go lower, right, can I get a breakout here? Absolutely. Let's say we take that strong move down. let's say that instead of going 1, 2, and back up again, the bears hold it and they jump off the moving average. What do we call these? 1, 2, 3 breakouts. Yep, I can mark up that low. I can mark up that high, drill down to my faster time frame. And I know this is kind of scary here, right? If we do end up having to get, if we do get that 1, 2, 3 move, it may be pretty scary off the top of that channel. But remember, at that point, the range will have disconnected. We will have held that pullback, and this is a breakout at that point. So we're going to find that new channel. We're going to find our bull traps, right? Our buyer failures and our pullback entries coming off of that high. Where would the target be if we get that breakout? Right? If we get the breakout, the 1, 2, 3, where's the target? Again, the breakout leg, right, is the measuring leg. We'll know more about that once we get there tomorrow. So keep that on your radar for tomorrow on the S&P. A lot more to cover here. And again, if you want to learn more about the entry setups, definitely grab that link up there in the upper right-hand corner. Let's keep going here. Over to the Nasdaq right now. Nasdaq, as you can see, is quite similar to the S&P. A little bit different, right? Obviously, there's a range right in the middle of that chart right now. With that range, we know the range, of course, acts as a magnet. I've got plenty of support levels underneath me here, plenty of resistance levels up here overhead. Not a lot is different here on the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq also has kind of a strong pop higher as well, so it wouldn't surprise me if those buyers make a strong run back up to retest those highs. And of course, I get the major lows down here, right, just below us here. How do we buy it? How do we sell it? What if price goes higher here? If price goes higher here, again, as we go higher, the bulls have all of the momentum on this. So the only way to really sell it would be to let the buyers try once, try twice. I'm not going to worry so much in this particular situation of a rising support trend line like we have to worry about on the S&P. What I really want here is kind of get those buyers trying a couple times so I can slip this order right in and sell into those stop losses coming back down, right? Nice, easy buyer failure. Again, a two-try failure because you're going against momentum. As the market runs higher, we might get lucky and be able to kind of thread the needle on this. You can definitely see some levels across here. So I wouldn't mind if we get a strong enough push, obviously. The all-time highs are back up there at 48. Half, give or take a couple pennies. I would love to see that strong move up, shallow pullback, higher high in price, and of course that trap low. This, of course, will be contingent that this leg is very strong and we haven't taken out that high yet. That'd be a great way to buy this market as we go higher without really buying very high, right? You're buying nice and low. Again, that would be a trap setup, which of course you'll learn more about in that quick start video. So the trap setup is definitely something we're watching for here as we go. And remember, key two is if they make that higher high, right? If they pop up and we go 1, 2, right? Yeah, this thing's coming back down into that trading range. If they pop shallow pullback, right, and higher high on this, now yeah, those trappers are waiting right around this area here. Wouldn't complain at all if it came in off that trend line. So a nice, easy, kind of bullish, almost breakout as we're going. Our biggest problem, obviously, will be up around these highs. We may see the market make a strong run. They may get that pullback, and they may blast right through that high. If that's the case, we look for that, right? Look for that 1, 2, 3 breakout going higher, mark up, right, that new channel, and then drill down and grab the first test off the low of that channel. Again, the target on this is that measured move right target, right? That's that first leg is where you're trying to go from there. Whenever you see a range, the breakout leg is the measuring leg. And again, we'll drill down to our faster time frame and find the entry off the low of that channel. So that's going to be something we're watching for as we go. Could I sell this thing off the high? If we take out those highs, could I sell this? The only way you'd really be able to sell this thing off the high, let's say, for example, they make this, let's say they kind of bleed it higher here, or even better, right? Let's say we get this let's say we get this 2-try trap and they finish off that high here, this is going to be a lot of momentum for those bulls. So really the ideal way to short off that high will be to wait for those buyers to come in, because there's going to probably be like a new channel here. You'll probably see buyers buy it one more time. Let those buyers kind of double top it, and then 1, 2, and then back down into that trading range. I hate to sound like a broken record tonight with those 2-try failures, but that's really, again, whenever you've got these ranges down below you, that's going to be your best bet there, to be looking for those failures. But because we're so bullish, be trying to use that 2-try rule, right, to short that thing back down again. That's my game plan as we go back up to those highs here tomorrow. And I'm sure there'll be something I missed here tonight, so we'll make sure we keep everybody on the right side of this tomorrow in the trade room. As we go lower, what's the game plan as we go lower? Well, thank goodness this trend line is not that bad, because as we go lower here, again, that range, of course, is the magnet. The hard part right now is, as we go lower, is that we're kind of coming off of that high here. So as we go lower, it'll be that 1, that 2, maybe I get lucky and get that trap entry off of that low, right? Maybe I get that trend line entry, off of that low. Bottom line though is, once those bears try a couple times down here, their stops are sitting right above that high. I can buy right into those stop losses, right, with a failure pattern. As the market pushes lower, if they hold that, if they hold that breakout and make a run with that 1, 2, 3 breakout pattern, that'll be my cue there. Find that new channel, drill down, find the entry short. I like to look for bull traps or buyer failures off the high of that channel. If you've taken the that free quick start class that I mentioned linked up in the upper right hand corner, you know exactly what I'm talking about regarding those pattern setups as we go lower. Where would the objective be as we go lower? Get that 16,129 level right down bottom. And then, again, the breakout leg is the measuring leg, really. So at this point now, it's pretty straightforward, right? Try to push down under those ranges, right? Get those bears to try a couple times, and then buy into those stop losses. You'll learn more about that setup inside that quick start class. And then again, if they can kind of hold that pullback and go, we call that a 1, 2, 3 breakout pattern. I'm going to mark up that low. I'm going to mark up that high. And then again, I'll drill down, right, and I'll find that short off the high of that channel. There are a couple different variations of this we could look for, but I'll keep the video pretty simple here right now. The hard part's going to be if we end up getting up around these highs here, kind of waiting to get that retest, and then 1, 2, and then back down into that trading range from there. We'll go over more of this stuff tomorrow morning, obviously, in the trade room. And then wrapping things up here tonight on the oil. Oil, as you can see here, again, very similar here on the crude oil. Oil, as similar to the S&P here, has a relatively strong move higher here. It's not what I would call an open loop, because we have a strong move that has been retested, but you can definitely imagine though the bulls would love to get back up and take out that 82.67, and if they can get it going higher here, they get that 83.42 level, which is that big top that we had, what was it, Wednesday last week or so, right? So got that big 83.42 level up overhead. There's a range you can see here right in the middle. That's pretty easy to see. We definitely have this rising support trend line coming up off of that low. That, just like on the S&P, tells us if all we get is a shallow pullback, I'm going to have to again look for those traps to get that trap short, right, off of that high. Again, still want those buyers trying twice because of the overall momentum there for the bulls. I do want that trap entry because it's going to help me avoid trading into that rising support trend line, right? If we do end up really pushing higher, taking out those highs, now I have a little bit more flexibility. The buyers try once, the buyers try twice. Just remember, when you get these big, strong pushes, you really want to get 2 separate tries, you don't want to be like 1, 2 and then try to short it, right? What I always say, the bigger the move, the bigger the 2 try they'll have to worry about on that. Find that trend line off that high. Find that trend line off that high. Get that trap off that high. Those are my favorite ways to short those 1, 2 try failures. Got that target, of course, coming back down into that trading range, and then potentially that move all the way back to the other side of that range here. As the market goes higher, if the buyers can hold that pullback and jump off the moving average, remember, it's got to really jump off the moving average. It's not enough just to get a strong move up and they try to keep it going. They really have to see this thing push and really get broken free of this range magnet here. So again, if they can, if they can go 1, 2, 3 breakout, right? I'm going to mark up that high. I'm going to mark up that low, and then we'll look for, again, find that new channel. I'll drill down to my faster time frame. I like to use a 618 tick for the entry time frame on the oil. You'll see examples of that inside of that quick start class that I mentioned earlier, but that will be a fantastic long trade there. Again, we know from the previous charts, the size of the breakout leg makes for a very easy objective going higher there. Just really easy place to put your final target on there. Maybe it really jumps up, real strong move, maybe get that shallow pullback, that higher high. I wouldn't mind that either. Again, the overall momentum is pretty bullish. So if I can get that really strong pop up, shallow pullback, higher high in price, I'll definitely be looking for that trap entry, right, coming in off of that low. And then every once in a while, this is another one of those kind of breakout patterns. You could also apply this on the S&P and the Nasdaq as well. Think of this area right here as a bit of a support area. So think about the market now running up and then a really, really sharp pullback, right? Remember, anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we know the odds are pretty good they're going to retest that high. So in that situation, if I see a strong run up, right, and sharp pullback, if I can get those bears to think we're going to go back into that range right now, I can trap in those bears with a failure pattern, flip that into a pullback combination, and you've got yourself a nice little setup right there, right? So failure, pullback combo, we see a lot of these. Again, strong run up. For whatever reason, the buyers may not want it up at 83. It collapses back down. We can hold this area here. What was resistance becomes support, and then we look for the entry setup, right? The failure pattern, the pullback pattern, right? Any one of the 4 setups we talk about in that free quick start class. As we go lower here, I really can't buy this thing. I know it's an obvious, support trend line here. What I could do is, if it holds off of that, if they hold off of that low and then 1, 2, 3, I could definitely buy that. But I definitely don't want to be buying that, just not yet. Just the range is too strong at that point. But if they bounce off that trend line and 1, 2, 3 go higher, I've got my new channel. Drill down, find the entry off the low of that channel. Again, I hate to sound like a broken record tonight, but they're all pretty much the same ranges right now. So a lot of the setups are going to be very similar. Obviously, we'll have some variations tomorrow, and we'll cover that in our trade room. As we go lower, the big problem as we go lower is going to be momentum. Right, so it'll be a momentum, right? So if we make it all the way down into our buy zone, so to speak, and really for the most part, you could probably just move this whole thing down, right, just like that. Put that buy zone right around that 81.30 area. If we can get this move down into that buy zone below that trading range, my concern again is momentum. In this case, the momentum concern is because we're rotating off that high, and if you guess 2 try failure pattern, you guessed correct, right? So we got 1 try for the bears, 2 try for the bears. Stops are right above that high, right? At this point now, there probably is a bit of falling resistance, but that's not going to be enough to keep me, to get me in trouble here, I'll look for that failure pattern. Again, to try failure. Maybe I get lucky and get a trend line coming in. Maybe I get even luckier and get that trap coming in as well. But that's the idea. As we rotate off the high, this support area, give the bears a few tries and let them rip back up into that trading range. Again, we may end up down here. The bears may hold that pullback and they may jump and run this market lower. 1, 2, 3 breakdown. 1, 2, 3 breakout pattern. Remember, it's not enough to see a strong push. They're going to hold that pullback if they can. We're going to grab that. We're going to grab that low. We're going to grab that new channel high, and we're going to find that short off top of that channel. Now, where would our next objective be on this? 80. Yeah, 80 is a pretty easy round number there. There's a big range down there from last week. So 80 seems to be a very, very easy objective here for those bears. They would love to get that 1, 2, 3 breakout. And again, as we mentioned earlier, the breakout leg will be the measured leg. In this particular example, it'll probably be that leg right there, because this leg just be a rotational leg. That will be your breakout leg. But nonetheless, though, I'm going to find my channel, drill down, grab that short right off the high, and then I'll worry about that measured leg right once we get there. So we're buying low, we're selling high, we're trading failures, basically failed breakouts. And again, I've covered quite a few different breakout variations that I'll be looking for here tomorrow. What about you? What's your favorite trade for tomorrow? Let me know in the comments section below. And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button for me, and we'll wrap up tonight's video. Now, tomorrow morning, don't forget, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Don't be late. We got that PPI report tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern time. We definitely want to make the most the next couple of trading days, because, of course, Thursday is Veterans Day, which will be a relatively small window of opportunity. So wrapping things up, don't forget, grab the link to join the trade room. I'll put that in the description of the YouTube video. I'll also put a big button for you guys below this video tonight on the website. So grab that link, get registered, and I will see you tomorrow morning at the opening bell. Please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you hit that like button here if you enjoyed the video tonight. And don't be a stranger. If you got any questions, pick up the phone, give us a call here in the office. We'd love to answer any questions that you might have along the way. And as always, be well out there. Be nice to each other. Get some rest. Remember, you want to really try to catch up on that sleep right now. I know we got a free hour of sleep on Saturday, but that will catch up to us tonight and tomorrow. So make sure you get some rest. Right, keep hydrated, make it through this time change here, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning at the opening bell, 8 o'clock Eastern time. If not, you better come back and see me tomorrow night. I'm sure tomorrow we'll see something besides just some ranges across the board for tomorrow. So no matter what, we'll have a great day tomorrow in the trade room. Hope I'll see you there with me. We'll see you guys next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.